the time when the oceans drank Atlantis and the rise of the sons of Arius, there was an age undreamed of. And unto this Conan, destined to bear the jeweled crown of Aquilonia upon a troubled brow. It is I, his chronicler, who alone can tell thee of his saga. Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hey everybody, it's me, Lance Undead Viking Meister. I'm here with yet another video review for you. Now I am super excited to show you this game, Conan. This is Conan, the tactical miniature skirmish battle game. It's just called Conan. When I first actually heard about the game, I was contacted by the company Monolith to see if I was willing to do a preview for them. And I said, yeah, definitely. And I think it was called like Conan Adventures in the Hyborian Age or something, but they've just shortened it out just to Conan. Now, obviously, if you are a fan of fantasy literature and things like that, you hear the word Conan, you do not think of a late-night talk show host. You think of the Cimmerian, you think of the Barbarian, the Destroyer. You have those two movies, obviously. First one, pretty good. Last time, yeah. And that most recent one, I haven't even bothered to see that. But regardless, I grew up reading the old Robert E. Howard books. And I grew up reading like the Savage Sword of Conan and the big black and white magazine, basically comic book that Marvel put out. I read like I had a subscription to that. I read a ton of those. So I'm a huge fan of Conan and the world of Conan. And when they contacted me, I said, yes, please send that to me. Now, I didn't get this until just recently. Unfortunately, it got stuck in customs and what have you. And so the Kickstarter's fully going right now, and they have, I think they've hit $1 million or something like that. So it's obviously, I'm not alone in my love for Conan. But, hopefully, if you're sitting on the fence and you haven't decided, and if you've been living underneath a rock and you haven't heard about this game, this video will hopefully show you some of the really awesome miniatures that you get along with the game. And also, I'm going to touch on the mechanisms of the game to kind of show you the cool thing. I mean, if you've played skirmish miniature type battle type games, I mean, you're going to be very familiar with some of the aspects of this. You know, rolling attack dice and then rolling defense dice to defeat those attack dice. But there's a lot of other stuff going on. This is a game of, you know, players versus an overlord. And so, like, the scenario that I'll show you will actually have Conan and two of his compatriots, Valeria and the Thief, and Conan, obviously. And I have those miniatures of them, and you know, whereas this is a prototype of the game that I got, and I'll show you the miniatures up close here in a little bit. But I mean, this is a prototype that they sent me, but the miniatures I got for this game are just amazing. Take a look at that giant snake. How awesome is that thing? That thing is just amazing. All those little spikes and everything on it, and the fangs, super cool. What I'm going to do is, I'm not going to show you like a full playthrough of the standard scenario of the Pictish village. I'm going to just kind of touch on some of the mechanisms that you'll use while you play the game. And then we'll come back here and I'll probably gush a little bit more about Conan and how much I love that world and the Hyborian Age and everything like that. And then we'll hopefully, like, if you're on the fence, or if you want to make sure that this is a good game and you've already backed it, or if you've, like I said, haven't heard about it, you'll go ahead and you will give Monolith some of your hard-earned cash, and then when this game gets published, you will get a big giant box of Conan the Barbarian in the mail. So, alright, cool. Let me show you how to play Conan from Monolith Games. Alright, this is the board for the Pictish village for Conan, and as you can see, I've set up the miniatures, and the goal in this particular mission, if you will, is that the lovely princess was captured by the Picts, and Conan is going there to rescue her, and also needs to kill the Pictish chieftain. And so, like I said, I wanted to show you some of these miniatures. But like, here's like the Pictish chieftain, and you can see, you know, he's got that little like rock or obviously some sort of mystical stone he's going to be casting spells with. Cool little skull there on his spear. And so I mean, these miniatures are just awesome. Check out this is the oh so beautiful princess that is being held captive. You know, just really nice sculpt on that one as well. And you know, not just like the two main ones. Like here's the giant snake that is being kept as a pet, apparently. You know, and so all of these are just really, really awesome looking. Like, check out, just check out just like a standard Pict hunter. And like you can see, he's got his stone axe there. Check out the little, he's carrying those skulls. I mean, obviously, I mean, this is just, they really went out of their way to make some awesome sculpts for this game. And I would be remiss if I didn't show you Conan. So, here is Conan using 2 battle axes, just being the badass that he is. And you can see, you know, pretty awesome, right? Pretty cool. And here, I'll show you Valeria too quick here. Now I have to excuse the glue on the bottom of the thing. She showed up, she actually had broken off her base, but there's Conan's good girl, Valeria, you know, that travels with him. So there you go. So anyway, the whole purpose of this, like I said, is to get in here. You have to find the princess. Now normally you wouldn't see all of these particular things. The players would be like looking for her, and so they'd have to go into a hut and see if they're in there and things like that. Obviously the overlord knows what they are. You actually get these tokens that actually have the pictures, and you just place those face down in there, and so you can kind of hide that. But obviously that would be a little dull if I didn't have the miniatures out for you. So there you go. So that's what that looks like. Now you get these player sheets. You know, that I'll show you Conan, because that's what I'm going to show you some of the mechanisms with this a little bit. But just briefly going over this, this is where you keep your stamina gems, which are just these blue gems here. And it says, like on Valeria here, it shows that she gets 10. So you have 10 stamina gems in here. And what happens is that when you do actions, you move those gems into these little boxes up here saying what you're going to do. So if you are going to attack, you go ahead and you put that, you know, up here, and then you can do your attack. And then it tells you what kind of die to roll. You roll an orange die, and you get to re-roll one. Now, you can put more than one up there. So, like, if you wanted to, and notice how there's a 3 there, Valeria can put a maximum of 3 dice. She could put 3 up there if she's going to do an attack, so she can get more successes. You know, she has a ranged weapon. She has a crossbow, and so she'd roll yellow dice for that, and then they'd have 4 for that. If she rolls defense, you have an orange die, and you can use more than one defense. You notice there's no number saying there's a limit number you can do there. If you want to try to manipulate an object like a chest, open a chest, you put a one here, and the maximum of 3, and so then you roll yellow dice for that. This is movement. The 2 down here means she has a base movement of 2, but if you want to move more, you can put up to 4 of your gems up there, so you can move up to 4 more spaces. And this box here is just for re-rolling. If you didn't like your rolls, you put one over there, you roll another one. And you can do that over and over again. Over here, you see this is like 2, 3, or 4. Okay, so normally when it's your turn as a hero, you get to decide if you're going to be active or inactive on your turn. If you're going to be active, you're going to gain 2 of your gems, because once you're done and everybody's done, you take the actions you did, all the gems, and you move them down to here. They're like spent. This is like your exhaustion or whatever. And this is only used if you take damage. But I'll explain that in just a second. So normally, if you're active, you'd get to take 2 of the gems that are here and move them back over here so they're able to be used. The 3 and the 4 here, you notice there's those little skulls. The first skull means if one of your compatriots has been killed, then you get 3, meaning that like you're gaining strength because you know that the odds are against you. And finally, if other 2 enemies have died, you get 4 back. Now, this little moon here means that's when you declare yourself inactive, meaning that like you gotta lick your wounds, and you're gonna need more than 2 from over here. And so if you declare yourself inactive, meaning you're not doing anything, you would get 5 back in that situation. And so you can see over here, slightly different. The thief here, they have he gets a red die for manipulating things. He's better at opening chests. and he's got better range, you know, and he's a little bit faster, you know, so you can kind of see, you know, there's some slight differences there, but like you, and also, you know, but the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is still the same. So that's what the player boards do when you use them, and the cool thing is that when the players take their turn, all the players work together and they decide what they're going to do as it progresses. So, just for example, the Conan player says, "I'm going to move here, and then I'm going to go into this thing, and I'm going to attack I'm going to see what's in here, and I'm going to attack those guys, and I'm gonna take those guys out. And then after I attack them, then, you know, thief, hey, you come in here and you get this chest open." And then the Valeria player, you're going to go over here and, you know, you're going to stay there, save some stamina or whatever, and when things come out, then maybe you'll get to shoot them with your crossbow or things like that. So the whole team kind of works together as one, and everybody uses up whatever they're going to use up of their stamina pool at once. And then the Overlord player goes. Now, I'm going to have to adjust my camera here quick because to show you the Overlord, board, if you will, because when the Overlord plays, they have this awesome board that they get to use to both to activate their creatures, their warriors, and what have you. And this is that board down here. And I do apologize. I'm going to have to adjust that real quick. Unfortunately, this has fallen apart on me because, as I said, it took a while for this to get to me, and the customs people were kind enough to break this portion of my prototype. So just a moment, please. I'm going to do some little magic of video editing so you can see this. All right, so what happens here? This is the board for the Overlord, and you can see he has gems here that he will spend, and then they will eventually get over here, and then you notice that he always gets 5 back. That's what that 5 in the middle means there. So like whatever's over here, he gets to put them back up to 5. And there's a couple of spots over here that that he can put those gems in. He can spend gems, and I just realized that's upside down. But he can spend gems, and these look a lot like the same things that are on the player board to do extra moves. He can spend them to give his creatures and his warriors and whatever he's using in this particular battle more defense, and he can use it for rerolls as well. And he can spend those as long as he's got gems. He can keep spending them. The major thing that he uses the gems for, however, is to activate the different creatures and warriors that he has. You'll notice there's this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then there's the different warriors and creatures listed on those little cards. And I'll just pick one up so you can kind of see what this does. So you can see this is a Pict Hunter, and it has a red border. It might be tough to see. Those that obviously those would be these particular guys here, and it activates all of them. Now there's like 3 groups of Pict Warriors. There's a green group, a blue group, and a red group, and you can kind of see, if you can see, there's a green around this and a blue around that. So, and then you can see that they can move 2, and they have a defense of 2, and when they attack, you get to roll 2 yellow dice, and you get to re-roll them both if you don't like the results. Yellow dice are the worst. Orange dice are in the middle, and red dice are the best. Everything pretty much has 1 hit point unless the scenario says differently. So what you have to do is basically get past the first 2 points of defense on something to do a 3rd point to wound it. And so that's how that works. But what happens is, so you have to spend. This should be a 6, not a 9. But you have to spend the number of gems equal to the number of above the creature that you want to activate. So if you want to activate the Pict Hunters, you would spend 3. So you'd move 3 guys over here. 1, 2, 3. You'd activate them, have their turn, and then you'd slide the rest of these guys down, like so. Meaning that, and then this one goes back in 8. So if I wanted to activate this again, it would cost 8, and I'm probably not going to have that much. But now, you like now see like the giant wolves or this giant snake are now cost less, and so maybe now after activating them, now I'll activate my giant snake because it's going to cost me 6, and or it won't cost as much as it was for planning ahead. This token here, what that stands is it's for monster respawning. So that's like, so once you get that, if you have a group of warriors or monsters that get destroyed, you can use that to respawn them, so you can get them back into play. So that's how that works. I really like this sliding thing. It's so, it's weirdly ingenious and tactical at the same time, because it's just like, oh well, let me move some of my scrubs, and then I'll move my big guys after they get cheaper to move, you know, and I really like that. And like, as I said, after, like, so if, for example, let's say like I had a this Pict hunter and he was next to Conan and he attacks, I roll 2 yellow, and like here I have 1 success and no success. Now, just so you can see, there is one that has 2 successes, but the yellow dice are the worst. They have 3 sides that have successes, 2 with 1 and 1 with 2. And so, you know, then I'm going to re-roll this one. I'm sorry, that was a 1. So I'm going to re-roll this one. See, oh, see, I got lucky. And so then I have 3 successes. And that's how you do an attack. And then the Conan player would then have to, you know, defend against that attack using their defense dice. And hopefully, you know, they saved some dice, you know, from their turn, you know, when they were doing their actions, that they'd be able to put into their defense to actually assist them in that. Now, most of the time they have an item, like a shield or armor, that they get dice automatically, but then if they can add more dice, obviously, then we can roll more dice. But that's what the Overlord does, but obviously there's a lot to it. I mean, certain creatures have certain powers. One of the big powers that like they have is like these Pict Warriors here. They can block people. And so if they're in the same spot as somebody, you can't get away from them. You have to use an extra movement point to get away from them, so to get to where you want to go. Which is important because a lot of the scenarios are timed. In this case, this particular scenario is timed. You have 8 turns before like the big Pict warring party comes back. And so as the time goes by, if you actually get to the end without actually killing the chieftain and getting the princess and escaping out with that, you lose this particular scenario. So there's different abilities that are on the different creatures that come into play, and it's part of the whole tactical portion of the game. Alright, so I'm going to use the whole video editing thing, and I'm going to move this back, and then we're going to like show you what the heroes can do. Alright, we're back, and we've moved out a little bit, and so now we're just going to maybe move Conan in, and you can see what you can do as a player playing Conan. So, Conan has, as you can see, a movement of 2. He has a battle axe and a shield. The battle axe gives him the ability to add a red die when he rolls, and he also like can throw it if he wants. And of course the little when he rolls his attack, he gets the +1 red die, and the red die can be re-rolled. That's what it is, and also when he throws it as well. If you throw it, wherever you throw it to, it lands there, and you place it on the board, and you got to go there and pick it up. So you might not want to throw the battle axe unless you absolutely have to. The shield, as you can see, gives you 1 extra yellow die when you defend. And notice there's also weights on here. The battle axe was 3, and this was 2. Conan can carry a maximum of 12, so he can carry a lot. But as he increases the weight of the things that he's carrying, he can do less, like heroic actions. Like at 6, that's when he can't swim. You notice there's a little swimming there, and then jumping and what have you. So the more weight you carry, your options as far as your movement and how fast you can get around do decrease at that point. So as the player, like, if you're Conan and you say, okay, I'm starting here. This is one of the entrances into the Pict village. I want to get in here and I want to kill these guys that are in here. So what Conan's going to do is he has to count the movement to get there. So each space is a movement. So 1, and this is a door, so it costs an extra movement. So that's 1, 2 to get in there, and then 3 to get into this little hut here, so you can fight these Picts. Now, it costs him 3 movements, so what you can do here is you get 2 for free, but you're going to have to pay an extra 1 to move. So you move your gem over there to show that you're going to do a little extra movement like so. And now he's in there. And the cool thing with Conan is that he actually, when he attacks, he can, like, the extra attacks, like, cleave. They carry over to the other things that are in the room. And so, which is a very powerful ability, because obviously he gets to roll a bunch of red dice, and he can spend, you know, and those have a ton. The red dice are the best. There's only one spot on a red die that has a blank. Other than that, it's all successes, and up to 3 on a spot. And so, and we automatically get one of them, because he's got the battle axe. So if we say we're going to attack there, and remember the Pict guys have armor of 2. So to kill one, he's got to get 3 successes. To successfully kill all of them in there, he's got to get 9 successes. So what he's going to do is he's going to spend. I'm going to go for broke here, and I'm going to spend 4 stamina. I'm going to move them over here, and I'm going to do that attack like so. And so I'm going to take. I get 5 red dice, and my dice do, I've had to like double check a couple times, like the yellow dice and the orange dice look kind of alike, and the red dice look kind of like the red dice as well. So I've taken to looking to make sure I've got the right ones, but and I've looked at what the game looks like, the dice that are going to come with the base game, and you're not even going to come close to having this problem. But I mean, this is just the prototype, whatever. So here I've got 5 dice, and I get to re-roll 1 because I got the battle axe. One of them is battle axe. So let's roll this and see what we get here. All right, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Bam. You know, he's going to cut right through them. Now, remember, if the Overlord wants and they have stamina left over, they can spend money. They can spend tokens on defense. But in this case, you know, we're not going to do that. They're Picts, and you know they're the little hunters, and they're kind of a dime a dozen. So we're just going to let it happen. And maybe the Overlord used all of his up on the turn before, and he wants to save it for activating it this turn or whatever. So you're going to take those out. 1 point of damage after you get through the 2 defense they have. 1 point of damage takes him out. And so now Conan is in this room alone. He's got a chest that's sitting there. So he wants to try to open that chest. You know, obviously he could call his thief buddy in there to try to open it for him. He's got a better chance at opening it. But you know, we're just gonna have Conan give a shot. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna spend 1, and let's spend 2 and see if we can get it. And Conan he can spend up to 3, and he gets orange dice to do this. And so we need 2 successes here to get it open. And I got 2 on the 1 die, and so I got 3 successes. So I'm gonna get it open. Now, what you do then is you have a deck of cards that you have shuffled up, and you just draw one, and you see what you get from opening the chest. In this case, we get a magical urn, which is kind of cool because it's basically kind of a grenade, and you see you can throw it. It's ranged, and you get to have 2 of these red cubes, meaning you use those in the attack. It weighs 1, and it affects everything in the area because it's an explosion. So that's cool. So you just put that in Conan's stuff. You know, he's carrying 6 now, so maybe he can't swim, but we're not worried about swimming in this one, so we're not going to have anything to do with that. Now, we're in the situation where it's like, well, I could move him out if I wanted to, and spend more to get out, but it would cost me 2 stamina just to get out, because 1 for the door and 1 just to move out. So we're just going to leave Conan in there, and then maybe the Conan player says, I'm done. So you take all those cubes, and you put them down in that area like there, and then you wait. And now the Overlord, and the other 2 players do their thing as well, and then like the Overlord goes. Now let's just say, for example, let's say the Overlord was able to get 2 of these Pict Warriors in there. Now these guys are bigger. These are the ones that have these big giant clubs. Here, let me show you. Let me show you one of these guys up close. These big, huge, strong guys with these giant stone maces or stone warhammers, basically. And so he's in there and he's going to fight, have both of them attack Conan. So you can see here, they have 3 armor, so they're tougher to kill, and their attack is 1 red die that I get to re-roll. So for the first one, we'll roll a red die. Let's see what we get. Attacking Conan. 1 success. Well, I think I can do better. I'm going to re-roll for that guy. This is me playing the Overlord. And I got a blank. So, and that's what can happen. That's one of the things that's cool. So, all right, the other one attacks. There we go. 2 successes. That's better. I'm not going to shoot for 3. We're going to take the 2. Now Conan can roll his defense. Now remember, Conan's got that shield, so he automatically gets the yellow die. But the yellow die isn't very good. So let's go ahead and let's put 2 of these stamina that he's got left, and let's go ahead and put that into defense. So we're going to take these 2. We're going to take a yellow. Now what we're looking for is at least 2 successes. And, well, if I should re-roll that one because it was on there, but well, that's fine. I got 2 successes. In that situation, I succeeded. I absorbed those 2 points of damage that the attack had done, and nothing happens. But for the sake of just showing you how wounds work, let's say I got that, and I decide, I'm like, well, I'm going to re-roll 1. So you move your cube over there, and remember, you can use the re-roll as much as you want. You can use it for whatever you want. So you re-roll it. It comes up blank again. Do I push my luck? Let's get another re-roll. Because you can just keep re-rolling. Come on. Oh, well, fine. I'm going to take my wound. So what you do then is you're going to take the wound. You take one of these. You can take them for anywhere, but you probably should take ones that have been spent. And you move it over into the black, like so. Now, normally, because of the fact that it is in the black, you can't really get them back. However, you can find healing potions, and you can see the healing potions actually will take 2 crystals from the black and move them into the green. Now, obviously, once you get down to, like, if you actually run out of health, then in this case, Conan would actually perish in this particular scenario. But he can take a lot of damage. Next turn, he'll get 2 of these. Then after that's done, we start over. We get 2 of these back. Maybe he's only got 4 to activate. Maybe next he'll do something this turn. Probably attack these guys, try to take them out. Probably call for his friends to come in there and help him out. But that's the process. So then Overlord's done. He moved his stuff around. Obviously, he probably would have moved a lot more. And then the players just go back and forth. And like as I said, this is like a 8-round scenario. So if you don't pull it off quickly, the heroes are going to lose. I hope that shows you a really good overview of how this works. This is the only scenario I have, but I played it several times. We've then just tried playing. Let's see how far the heroes can get in as far as like killing as much as they possibly can before they get dropped. We've tried different, like made up our own scenarios as far as like having to find secret treasure in there, all kinds of things like that. And I've read the other stuff and the other maps and everything like that. The game looks amazing. It looks like it's just going to be a complete and total winner. I can't wait to see what the final version looks like. But let me tell you more about my thoughts on the game and my conclusion, which I will do right now. All right, there you go. So you probably have a really, really good idea of well, I mean, I only have the one scenario, so I'm still a little in the dark as far as how the game is played and what happens as well. But for the most part, the basics of the game are there. You roll a certain number of dice. You see how many successes you get. You compare that to what you're attempting to do, and then you either succeed or fail. There's so many things about the game that I can talk about that I really like. So, I mean, I understand. I've read a few people that have said, wow, it just seems like another miniatures game. And I guess I can buy into that a little bit. But obviously, the big draw for me, above all else, is the fact that I finally get to play Conan in a Conan game. Now, there's other Conan board games out there. Age of Conan, I did a review for the expansion just a little bit ago. Age of Conan is a game that I play, I'm going to guess, once every like 30, 40 days or so. It's just a game that I feel is a very fun, solid game set in the world of Conan. But you don't really get to play Conan in that game. Conan is just kind of this force of nature that you kind of just move around and you hopefully you get to do your bidding for a little while. And, there have been other games, like, I remember playing an old role-playing game, a Conan role-playing game when I was younger. But Conan was, like, this non-player character. He was the king, and he, once again, was just kind of on the periphery or whatever. And you couldn't play Conan. I mean, obviously, because that wouldn't be fair. I mean, everybody would want to play him. So to my knowledge, at least that I found, I never had a game where I could actually be Conan the Barbarian and his cohorts, if you will. You know, I love the movies. I mean, admittedly, Conan the Barbarian, the first movie with Arnold, is an amazing movie. I mean, I hear that soundtrack and I just start getting pumped up. And The Destroyer wasn't as good by any means, but it still was a very solid movie, a very, 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 and it was very fantastic, if you will. Whereas the first one was, you know, really, you know, it had the fantasy elements to it, but it was very rooted in reality too. I felt. But the second one, you know, with the wizard and the ice caves and everything like that, I really thought that they went and made sure to like make it more fantastic, and I appreciate that about the movie. I haven't seen that recent one that came out like a year or two ago or whatever, the remake. From what I've heard, it was just awful. So I'm not gonna go out of my way to find it either. So but the fact that I finally actually get to move Conan around and I get to split people's heads open with my axe, really, really appreciate that about the game. The things I really like, you know, playing as Conan and his friends. Two things I really like about that. I like the whole stamina procedure. You know, it's got a neat push your luck element to it, especially with the re-rolling the die. I really need to kill this guy. Roll the dice. Okay, I'm gonna roll another one. Okay, I'm gonna roll another one. You know, and you know, I like that. And then like having to make sure that you save some dice for, you know, well, I know I'm going to get attacked, so I'm going to be rolling my defense dice. I better save some dice so I'm able to actually then, you know, re-roll those and you know, and doing things like that. And so there's that nice balance of the choice that you're making. Plus, on the hero's turn, I have never played a game where it's an overlord versus the players, where you kind of just the player's turn is, you know, for lack of a better term, it's loosey-goosey, you know. Lots of, you know, talking amongst your friends, very tactical talking, very, very much, you know, okay, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go and kill that warrior. But I still have tons of actions left. You don't finish off all your actions. All right, then you, as Conan, you come in here and you use your cleave ability to take out those 3 picked hunters there. And then you, the thief, you know, you need to come in here and open this chest. Then we'll see what we get as far as treasure out of that chest. And then Valeria, you need to use your crossbow and you need to go ahead and shoot that guard that's over there. And hopefully you'll kill him. And then let's do that. And then we'll save some. And then you kind of go through that whole process. And I like that aspect. It gives the combat a flow and a reality to it, if you will. Because really, I mean, so it just kind of a break from the theme a little bit, where it's like, okay, I'm going to walk in here, and I'm going to kill this guy, and I'm going to go open this door, and I'm going to look in here, and I'm going to try to open that chest. Okay, I'm done. Now it's your turn, you go. And it's like, that's not how it would work, you know? I mean, all 3 of the adventurers would be running in together and fighting together and, like, doing stuff and manipulating the chest and all those things at the same time. And so when you have that process like that, it doesn't... First of all, one, it keeps everybody engaged in what's going on as the game is being played, but also this is a game that tells a story. This is one of those games that when you get done playing and like you just barely win or you just barely lose to either side, you remember that and you tell the story. I remember I was telling somebody on the phone the other day, it's like, I don't mind playing a Euro game. I love Euros. But I've never, ever in my life said, do you remember that time when I finally had that extra worker and I placed it over there and I was able to get 3 iron cubes at the very end and I got 7 points instead of 4 in the second to last turn, that made me win? Nobody ever says that. But when you say, remember when you needed just one more success and you had the 1 crystal left and you used it for adding another die and you rolled that die and you got that last success and then that allowed you to kill the chieftain of the Picts, and then and then you were able to escape right before the turns ran out. I mean, that you envision that in your head and you see that happen like a movie or whatever, and you're like, yeah, that was awesome. And it's like, and so those are this is the type of game where you're like high-fiving each other, or you're cursing the Overlord and things like that. And it's things like that I really enjoy. I really enjoy about the game. Being the Overlord is a lot of fun. I really like the whole sliding the card mechanic. You know, you get to pick which one you want to activate, if you want to spend, you know, that many crystals to do, and then you process that. I think that is ingenious. I mean, it's, you know, you can use, you know, like, if there's, like, say, like when I showed you how to play the game, like, the snake was all the way at the end. I mean, I wasn't going to pay 7 to start the snake, but I take a couple of turns and activate some of those little hunter picks, get that snake down to a 4 or 5, bam, now I can activate that sucker, and I can send him out, and I can chase down, you know, the players and have this cool monster to, like, you know, go out. And it kind of actually adds to the flow of the game as well. It's like, you know, how in a battle or a skirmish things escalate. You don't just come out with your big bruisers right away. You know, there's those scrubs that come out and just get chopped down automatically. You know, but, you know, they're there to kind of just maybe possibly, you know, get a lucky shot in here or there. And then, you know, when things, you know, are just like starting to go the hero's way, that's when, like, you know, the wolves, you know, come bounding out of their pen and attack, or a giant snake happens to show up and try to swallow one of the people whole. I really also like the fact that, unlike in a lot of the skirmish games, like, if the whole heroes, I mean, and even though, like, I enjoy Descent, the second edition Descent, you can't kill the heroes. But in this game you can. I mean, you can literally just, you can kill them. You do enough damage and eventually they're dead. And you know, and that is you know, it adds a poignancy to, like, you know, you don't just go back to the beginning and start over and try again. No, I mean, it's like, oh, you're done, you're out, you know, and now it's up to the other two to manage to try to pull off a win here. And so it's a rather ingenious system, and it all around, you know, I love the different changes they're doing. I love the miniatures. Obviously they're beautiful, and, you know, just for the theme, for the very, very quick to learn and quick to play combat. This isn't a thing where it's like, oh geez, do I go there? Okay, what's the modifier for that? Do I add that? How many did you get? It's like, you know, you can teach somebody how to play this game, and the options you have to do pretty quickly, especially if they played miniatures games before. And you know, obviously, like I said, you can be Conan, and you can finally, you know, you put your battle axe in somebody's skull, and what's more cool than that? So, for all those reasons, I can't express enough how much I think you should go and check this out. If you are a fan of miniatures games, I think it's a must-buy. If you're a fan of fantasy thematic games, I think it's a must-buy. And if you are a board game enthusiast and you love Conan, I can't believe you haven't heard of this game and haven't backed it already, if you fall under that category. So go check it out. The link will be below. Like I said, they are smashing through their stretch goals, and like I said, they got like I think they have $1 million or something by now. So I think with everything that's on there, if you back the game at the higher level, I think it's like $125. With all the stretch goals and everything that they've attained and gained at that point, you're going to get a ton of extra stuff, and more minis, more maps, more everything, and it's totally worth it, and I can't express that enough. So thanks for watching this. If you have any questions about the gameplay or the game itself or Conan or anything, please post those. I'll try to answer those to the best of my ability. As always, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Yeah, until next time, I am the Undead Viking, and this is my gaming dojo. And you have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.